Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. With the name of Allah Almighty, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Imran Anwer sir, first of all, I am grateful for the time, and thank you, Salman, for this connecting the right person. Imran, bhai, my first question. Just share with me about your vision about Pakistan, especially the Pakistan's economy right now. It is passing through very difficult and testing times. Being the CEO of the company, you can turn around the company. How you can turn around the country if you are given the opportunity? What are the key drivers to turn around the testing economy, sir? Over to you, sir.
Okay, so Pakistan, first of all, clearly I'm an optimist for Pakistan.
MashaAllah.
So I see Pakistan with immense potential. And so whatever you are seeing in today's economic term, I would rate it as a difficult patch and not the end. So it's a difficult patch which we will pass through, and hopefully we'll end up more strong. So in terms of economy, if you look at it, what has actions being taken over the past 7-8 months, there may be some actions we agree, there may be some actions we don't agree. But the core is the same. We have a current account deficit that we need to narrow down. Now for February and March, we have seen them narrowing down. So that's a good thing. Then we have a fiscal deficit which needs to be handled, and we have to see how to handle it, and we are waiting for that actions. Some actions have been taken, but I don't think so that's enough, so more is required. And in a fiscal deficit, you have only two choices: either you increase your revenue or reduce your expenses, and you need to do actually both. You need to increase your tax net and all those things. You need to reduce your expenses, especially the losses that your state-owned enterprises are suffering. So both the things you need to do. So that needs to be done. Third, on an overall basis, we need to have more inclusive economy.
Okay.
I was just sitting with a CEO of a local bank here, and he was informing me that the banking density of Pakistan is 20%.
Yes.
Which means 80% of the people are
unbanked.
I mean, that's too big of a number. When you look at the mobile density of Pakistan, which is crossing 70%, if you convert the similar kind of number into banking density, you will see a very changed Pakistan. So there are a few things that we need to do. So it's a difficult patch. We will have a slow growth of our GDP for next 1 or 2 years. But after that, we should come out of it. And I'm hoping that we will come out for a longer period of time, and we'll not have that 5-year cycle that we are seeing over the last 15 years.
Okay, thank you, Imran, for giving this, sharing the optimism about the Pakistan's. Everybody is now crying. Really, the people are really passing through difficult time. Sir, my second question is regarding the good governance, because CEO basically the role is driving the company through good management and governing principles. Sir, what is good governance to you? And as such, we are not poor in resources. We are poor in good managers. Sir, what is your take on good governance? And what are the basic principles of good governance? If we apply, we can really change the trajectory of the Pakistan's economy and country.
To me, good governance is right people at right place.
Okay.
So wrong person at the right place would be a problem, and vice versa. So you need to be very clear that if you have right person at right place, then you give them the right environment. I have seen it many times in my career, that you just change a person, bring a right person, the things start changing. So to me, the stepping stone is the right people at the right place.
MashaAllah.
If you have that, then you need to give them some autonomy to work on a guiding principles. So taking an example of Engro, we have a very clear value sets that an Engroite, an Engro colleague should look like this. What we say that an Engro person should have an impeccable character and integrity, and we will assume that.
True.
He should have compassion for the country, for the company, and for the community, and he should be a person that has a value for safety of the environment and of the people. So then you give them the boundary. and then within their boundary, you allow them to operate. And if you look at our religion, and I always denote it with our religion, that Allah has given you a boundary which is called Hududullah.
Subhanallah.
Within that, you operate the way you want to operate. So to me, good governance is that, right people at right place, giving them a clear boundary, and within boundary allowing them autonomy to operate.
True, it is mean with the right responsibility, with the right power authority to delegate, to perform, and this is a real empowerment. Excellent reply, sir. Then the third part is regarding the country, that the human resource development and the quality of education and the quality of graduates. Are you happy with the quality of education, the quality of graduates being produced, which are joining to your companies?
We have a mixed bag. So it's a mixed. There are few institutes who are producing good quality
Graduates.
and yes, we're talking about graduates, and mostly when I'm talking about graduates, I'm talking about, in Engro we generally deal with engineering graduates, or we deal with business graduates. So I'm talking about engineering graduates and
Sure.
business graduates. I'm not talking about some other disciplines.
True.
So engineering graduates, some institutions are producing good engineers.
Okay.
And good engineering graduates who come and we help them develop further, and then they go and take the leadership roles over a period of time. And same is happening with the business graduates. But there are a lot of institutions which are not producing the right quality, and there they need to really focus. Otherwise, I see a real disparity that a business graduate or an engineering graduate from XYZ would be very different and treated differently than other places, and that should not be happening. I think we don't need to only give our graduates the technical know-how. That is important and that is a prerequisite, but there is more required. You need to help them build their character, which is totally missing.
Okay.
From our education system, I think the character building has gone out.
Is missing.
It's totally gone out.
Sir, this is again the question. Your point is taken. The question is, what really character building education is missing, and that creates the moral and ethical dilemma in our, especially the managers. What competencies, what are the core values we should inculcate in these managers or in the education system, which really are important when they come and join the workplaces?
I think we need to help those young people
Yes.
define success. And unfortunately, the morality that you see in Pakistan, where money is success, money is part of success, but it is not success.
It's not a complete package. It is a
Right.
part of the package.
But so I think we need to help them really discover that journey, and everybody will have a different journey of success. So we need the people who can help them really. I mean, as part of curriculum, we need to really help them understand what they want to achieve. We need to. I mean, I think every person should have a personal vision. And where he or she wants to go 20 years down the line and what they want to contribute. I think the third thing is we need to really focus on integrity, which sometimes I feel that a lot of people are taking shortcuts. I mean, if you talk to, I have also taken a lot of, a difficult journey, a challenging journey has been taken in my career. And everybody you will talk to at a senior level, generally there are a lot of challenges that they've come across. So there is no shortcut. You need to go through that motion. And I think our young graduates need to really understand that there is a motion that they need to go through. There is no shortcut of experience. There is no shortcut of certain things. And it's overnight success and overnight money thought needs to be taken away from those.
Very good. That is the instant mentality. Success is nowhere. It should not be there. No, coming to the especially your company related. Sir, chemical and polymer. The name, the Engro chemical and Engro polymer. Three critical challenges in chemical sector, because every sector is now under pressure because of the lot of economic challenges with the countries. What are the challenges and what are the critical challenges with the special Engro polymer?
I think Challenges, one challenge I think which I have seen over the period of 20 years of my professional career in Pakistan is the consistency of policies.
Okay. This is
So an overnight change that comes into policy shaken up the confidence of the entire system, our stakeholders.
Our stakeholders.
It takes a lot of time to build confidence. And when I'm talking about stakeholders, I'm not only talking about the shareholders, I'm talking about the employees, I'm talking about the lenders of the money, like bank financial institutions, I'm talking about the foreign shareholders who don't sit here on a daily basis. So really that affects. So I always tell and convince government about it that, whatever policy you are adopting, continue. And if you need a change, please consult. At the end of the day, government has authority, but if you want to change, please talk to us. We can maybe explain to you our problems, and then we can come to a very good solution to the thing. So that's one challenge. The second challenge at the moment is rising cost, which is everybody's challenge at the moment, and we need to pass that phase. Unfortunately, a lot of costs in Pakistan are so high that they are to an extent non-competing when we compete with the world. Taking an example of energy cost, which is extremely high and it's really non-competing. So that's a second challenge we face in this. And but then on the opportunity side, whenever you talk about challenge, one must talk about the opportunity. I see great opportunity for chemical sector in Pakistan. Look, Pakistan is importing $4 billion worth of petrochemicals. 1.5 is dry petrochemical, which comes into the dry shape, and $2.5 billion is liquid petrochemical. Now we are a country of 220 million people, and we are growing. We need to have all those products made out in Pakistan. And if we make it and we develop a coherent strategy around it as a country, and we decide that we will make all those products, number one, it will help us in our current account deficit because you will have to do less imports. Number two, it will generate employment. Number three, you will have a lot of know-how getting transferred to Pakistan, which will make Pakistan progressing in the right direction. Number four, it will develop a lot of downstream industries. Number five, it will develop your logistic infrastructure, and so on and so forth. So really the opportunity is very big, and I always tell people at the right authority levels, be it government or be it other places, that look at this opportunity, don't ignore it. $4 billion worth of import for a country who is suffering with dollars is a big thing. And when you are developing export, remember, it's more difficult than doing import substitution, because in export you are competing with the world. So take an example, we have devalued our currency by 33%. But Turkey has also devalued their currency. So when 1.5 years back, whatever your competing position was with Turkey, it's still the same, because you have devalued, they have devalued. So when you focus on export, which is a right focus, I'm not denying that, you have a challenge in terms of global competition. When you're doing import substitution, the market is there. What you need to do is to set up a right thing, and you can just go. And it's a safe bet. So for Pakistan, export versus import substitution, both are important, but the safe bet is import substitution, not export.
Rightly mentioned import substitutions, but do you think we don't have any entrepreneurial ecosystem or entrepreneurial mindset? We are the anti-entrepreneur society. How we can develop the entrepreneurs who can develop the things in Pakistan? Because government is not supporting doing cost of doing business, a lot of regulatory challenges, ease of doing businesses, lot of challenges. What do you suggest? How we can motivate, inspire our local entrepreneurs to develop the businesses in Pakistan?
So I'll give you an example of India. I'll give you an example of China. What India did, and I'm talking about chemical sector, so I'm just trying to stay within my sector rather than taking a larger picture, because what is right for chemical may not be true for IT
Other
sector,
sure.
and vice versa. So you take the example of chemical sector. What India did, they developed a chemical council. That chemical council has said that we want to develop the chemical sector into particular city. Then they created the petrochemical complexes into that city. Then those petrochemical complexes were supposed to nurture X many entrepreneurs so they can develop the downstream industry, and an entire ecosystem was done around that. That nurtured the petrochemical sector. Today, the chemical sector of India is $55 billion. Pakistan is hardly $5 billion, out of which $4 billion comes imported. So they are more than 11 times, where in terms of population they are like 5-6 times. So I can tell you that there are few things they have done right. We need to probably replicate something like that in Pakistan, develop an ecosystem rather than giving one-time incentive to an industry, right? So take an example of textile today. You have given them a lot of benefits, but are you giving them the ecosystem? And that result of that, you're not seeing your export increasing despite so many efforts.
True.
Same. Take an example of China. I have visited an industrial city called Ningbo, and there you have a chemical park. Within that chemical park, they have all the industries where one's input is others' output.
Excellent.
So I am producing something that goes to another industry.
There's a value chain.
And they are producing. So they look at it, all those sectors, they see, okay, we need X many tons of capacity for this product, X many tons of, and then they invite bids for those particular bids. That, this is short in Pakistan, let us focus that, how many people want to work in this chemical, how many people want to, and then, you are legally bound to sell your output to this in a commercial way.
This is a really cool system. Yeah.
So you need to create then you have a technical training institute within that park. So the young kids who are coming in, they're coming into a central place, they're getting trained, and then they're distributing those into other different industries. For wastewater system, there is a centralized unit. For the electricity generation, there is a centralized unit. So for steam, there is a centralized unit. So then everything is coming to the industry. It is very easy to do this. Why can't this be done in Pakistan? It can be done in Pakistan.
It can be done, but we only need the real right leadership. Sir, now going to the other questions. What is the polymers, Engro polymers, real the vision? Because you took the charge 4 years back, and any achievements during these 4 years, your tenure being the CEO, and the challenges being the CEO you faced in Engro polymers.
Okay, so Jasab, that's a very interesting journey. So let me brief that to you. When I entered Engro Polymer, the shareholders, which is Engro Corporation, have decided to exit from this business. So they were looking to sell this business, and there were a lot of the sale process is not easy for the employees. Naturally, Engro is much bigger name, and they wanted Engro to continue, but Engro wanted to exit. So when I entered this place, what I found was that there are people, everybody wants to leave that ship, and because everybody has to run their families, you can't blame them.
Sure.
Shareholders also wanted to exit. The business was making a lot of losses. So first 3 months after understanding this business in a better fashion, because that was my first chemical experience. I was coming from a food industry, which was very different than Engro Foods. I was part of the.
आप सरफराज साहब के साथ थे?
जी.
Okay.
So I was Engro Foods' first CFO, and then I also took over the business development side, and then I was moved for a very short time to Engro Fertilizer, and then I came here.
Okay.
So when
you are lucky you have worked with Sarfaraz sahab. He's a great friend.
Yeah. So it was a very good experience.
Very intellectual. He's a philosopher CEO.
Yeah, I have worked with him for like 8 years.
Oh wow.
Okay.
It's a great man. Okay.
So coming to Engro Polymers, when I came, the business losses were there, the shareholders were exiting, and every employee wanted to leave the ship.
Allah,
That
these
was-
were the challenges, real
that
times
was
challenges.
really, to stay positive in that environment, and then look for the business was a big challenge for me. So after 4-5 months, I took my leadership team and the middle management, and I will still remember that place, Naran.
Naran.
So we went out from the office.
Wow.
So we
Excellent.
were 45 people. We were sitting right at the, one of the river was there, and we were sitting on the floor
Beautiful place.
in a circle. And I asked them one question. I said, look, shareholders want to exit is not my decision. This is their business, and they have all the right to exit the business. But they're selling the company, which means company will run. The owner will change, but the company will run. And the main asset of this company is our plant. And whoever buys this company cannot move the plant. It will remain where it is. So we as professionals have two choices. One, leave the ship. Or second, we as professionals, as a team, make a commitment to ourselves that we will run it in a better fashion as a business as usual, improve the business situation, make some money out of it, so it makes an exciting proposition for our shareholders to stay with us. And so I said, you have two choices, let us make a choice. And I was very happy that everybody went to stay together and try to change the company and just forget this fact that shareholders are selling. Let us focus on the business. So everybody made the commitment. So we came back rejuvenated, then we developed a strategy. The strategy was that we will try to grow this business, we will add more efficiencies, and we'll try to diversify. So these 3 pillars we identified, and within each pillar we have identified the activities, and then it's a history. Then we started doing that, and then once our shareholders, I remember I joined in July 2015, and if I recall correctly, in May 2017, which was like 2 years down the line, Rayas invited all our management to his home, and he said, I want to give you a good news. Engro has decided that we don't want to sell this business and we want to grow this business. And then we went into a growth.
It was in 2015.
I joined in July 2015. This decision was done in May 2017.
17. Okay.
So it's like approximately 2 years. And since then we are expanding our capacities. We are coming into new products. We are putting a lot of efforts on improving our bottom line, and alhamdulillah, results are right in front of everybody.
Excellent. Sir, now coming to the short questions. When you hire a person for any managerial positions, what are the core competencies you look for in the human being, human resource? अच्छे managers के लिए 3 चीजें क्या ढूंढते हैं? Competence. और ये question इसलिए important है कि our new graduates, especially the managers, they should develop these competencies before joining the good company.
So in Engro, we have a very clear set of guidelines available. So it is not only me who will look at it, but I can tell you every company of Engro, every CEO of Engro will look at this.
Okay.
So, and 3 things we assume in people.
Okay.
So unless we have a reason to believe that he or she is not up to that mark, we'll assume that we assume that he or she has a good character and integrity. They have passion for the country, company, as well as community, and they value safety, both environmental safety as well as people safety. So then for the competencies which we try to identify in people and evaluate people on those, looking at their past experiences and etc., is that do they have entrepreneurial capability or not?
Okay. Risk-taking ability.
Risk-taking ability, entrepreneurial capability. Do they have capability to think Engro on a larger scale rather than being very shallow? Do they keep people first? Do people development, their own development, giving feedback, receiving feedback mechanisms that people should have? We try to see the adaptability. Can they demonstrate adaptability into the changing circumstances, or they cannot? and things like that. Those competencies we try to look into the people, and then we take our decision on hiring somebody.
These are the core competencies you look for. Sir, then another challenge is the training of these people when they come and they join, and the retaining of the key people who keep the company. That is the biggest challenge for the CEO, because the CEO has two headaches. The one is the managing of the cash flows and managing of the talent in the company. तो talent को retain करने की क्या strategies है?
You see, we have two streams from where people enter into Engro Polymer, and I'm talking about Engro Polymer now. One is the diploma. Those people who have done the metric, then the diploma, they come in. We train them for 2 years. We take them as trade apprentice. We train them for 2 years, and the training is the classroom training and on-the-job training before they are actually allowed to come and stand in the field. The second side is our graduate trainee engineer program, where the young, fresh engineers are hired. When they come into Engro Polymer, 1 year is their training period. 1 year is their training period. Now that training period, during that training period, they have given exposure on multiple disciplines. So while they've been informed about the values of the company, the competencies, the culture of the company, they get familiar with all the environment, they also get exposure to different areas. And after that, looking at their performance, we hire them. Once they come on board, there is a very elaborate career progression that we have within our system.
Okay, career progression.
Yeah. We have a very elaborate career progression, and we communicate that to people on a timely basis. So, one would have a very clear idea that he or she performs well, where they will be 2 years down the line, 4 years down the line. So they have a very short-term and middle-term clarity on what is happening. We have very transparent policies. So the policy will not change for Mr. X or Mr. Y or Mr. Z. It will remain consistent for everybody, whoever is there into that thing. So that really gives people a lot of comfort that, there is no biasness is there. We have a performance management, very robust performance management system where, goals are set at the beginning of the year, and the competencies development plan is set at the beginning of the year. Then in the middle of the year, we again have a dialogue on both goals, or we call it objectives, and competencies development. So we're not developing only the objective side or the performance side of the people, we are developing their competencies, which are generic competencies, which not only we value, but other companies value. So we're developing the leaders in them.
Excellent.
So as a result of that, there is generally we see a longer term association with Engro. And then, at the end of the year, we give them honest feedback.
Sir, where do you see Polymer, Engro Polymer, in chemical next 5 years down the road?
Oh, I'm very excited about the future of Engro Polymer, Once we touch 50 billion next year, or maybe in the middle of 2021, we will be the top company in the chemical sector of Pakistan. Okay. No other company has a number equal to that. But I think that is just the beginning. And that is nowhere near the end. We have a huge $4 billion market. We need to keep bringing new products into Pakistan. Number one, if we do this, it will help Pakistan, because we have a current account deficit, because of which you have rising inflation, dollar devaluation. We will at least positively contribute to reduce the inflation and to control the dollar rate. I think this will be a great contribution
to our society, to the country.
To the country. Then it will give our people a lot of new opportunities. So 5 years down the line, I think I would see, not in terms of number, but in terms of helping the country, we see a much bigger role than what we are playing today.
Sir, for a CEO, the key competency as defined by the Harvard Business Review, and that is the emotional intelligent CEOs nowadays, rather than the IQ savvy CEOs. What is your take on the EQ competence for a CEO is a must?
Recently, somebody asked me a question, and I was mapping my time. And really, when I mapped my time, I realized that 50% of my time goes with people.
True.
In terms of people development, people selection, people career,
mentoring,
coaching. And you can't achieve that role with IQ only.
Sure.
You have to have other side. You need to really go into other person's shoes, try to understand his or her problem, empathize. So that's why, you can say a 50% role cannot be achieved with IQ. You need to have EQ. And the remaining 50% part, you need to also have some balance of IQ.
So it means it is really a must for a CEO. So Imran bhai, difficult decision in your professional life for last 5, 6, 10 years journey, professional journey.
Difficult decision.
क्योंकि CEOs तो हर वक्त फैसले कर रहे होते हैं.
हाँ जी बिल्कुल.
छोटे बड़े, difficult and
I think coming into a company, first of all, where I have elaborated the situation, that was a difficult decision.
फैसला किया कि इसको बेचना नहीं है, इसको हमने बनाना है, इसको reinvent करना है.
That was a difficult decision. Then the entire journey with that is full of difficult decisions. Excellent. So I will not pick one difficult decision. The most difficult decision for me generally as a CEO when I have to offload somebody from this bus.
Oh, it's very difficult. Your inspiration, your role model, sir. But one-liner questions.
I mean, I have many role models, but I'm really impressed with our chairman, Mr. Hussain Daud.
Mashallah.
The energy he brings in.
He's iconic.
Number one, that is amazing. And number two, his passion to develop people, that inspires me a lot, and contribute to the society. Those two things, it just comes out of it, and I always tell him that we catch this from you, so that's a big inspiration.
Mashallah. Sir, stress and is a part of life, is a fact of life.
Absolutely.
And especially business stress, and especially companies जिसमें आप chemicals, manufacturing, more deadlines are there and have to catch the deadlines. What are your coping strategies of Imran Anwer's strategies of managing stress?
So, luckily I have a very good team with me, all my direct reports. So, if you have a difficult decision, which I generally see everybody contributing positively towards helping the decision making.
Okay.
And the real stress is when you are in the middle of a decision, you have not taken a decision, but you have to take a decision. Once you take a decision, that eases me off. So it's in the middle where you need to really talk to people, take advices, seek advices and all that things. I think I'm lucky that I have a very good team. So really I get right advices. And generally you say the CEOs are very lonely at the top. I don't feel that way.
Okay.
So I have a very good team who help me taking right decisions.
नहीं strategy को आप नमाज पढ़ते हैं, कुछ jogging करते हैं, workout करते हैं. Any habit which really मतलब वो आपको stress release करते हैं आप, वो unwind करते हैं.
I don't want to go into the religious side, but on a day-to-day basis, I walk daily.
Walk basically वो बड़ा anti stress है.
And I walk with my wife, so there are two advantages. One, she can complete the story of the day, and the second is
That's good.
We walk,
मैं पूछना चाह रहा था, गुस्सा आता है सर, anger. How do you manage anger?
आता है, गुस्सा आता है, हर इंसान को गुस्सा आता है.
नहीं, being a CEO, how do you manage anger?
I think देखें, पहली बात गुस्सा आता है, जी आता है. The second is, do I manage it? Yes, I try to manage it. Sometimes you're successful, sometimes you're not.
क्या strategy
so I think
silence में चले जाते हैं, क्या करते हैं, vent out करते हैं?
नहीं, बाज़ औक़ात vent out करता हूँ और काफ़ी औक़ात उठ के निकल जाता हूँ उस जगह से, and come back,
walk with the situation,
come back,
थोड़ा सा delay कर देते हैं,
पानी पी लेता हूँ. बहुत सारे difficult decisions पे I always tell people sleep over it.
Okay.
So you don't have to take the decision then and there.
Right now.
देखिए, you can just sleep over it for one night on a decision. Next day you have better clarity.
A different perspective, fresh perspective.
So a lot of times this helps.
Sir, success of Imran Anwer defined in 3 key lines, key words. Your mantra of success.
In relation to my personal life or Engro
personal
Polymer?
Professional life. नहीं, Polymer छोड़ दें, अब ये आपकी बात हो रही है.
देखिए, मेरे लिए, to my definition of success is, I believe Pakistan and community and Allah has given me a lot.
Mashallah.
ठीक है? It's very important for me to do some repayment by adding to the community, to the country. So जब मैं business को देखता हूँ, so I see कि जी, in terms of my business, we are adding value to Pakistan through import substitution, and reducing the current account deficit, we are adding value in our CSR a lot. In terms of my personal side, I always see that I inculcate in my next generation that it's very easy to get out of the country, Pakistan, but it's important to stay within Pakistan and add value. And because since we are blessed, to me the success is that my next generation adds value, and my next generation of leadership as well as the family, they add value to the country.
माशाल्लाह. Happiness, idea of happiness.
छोटी छोटी चीजें थी, छोटी छोटी खुशियाँ.
Small.
आइसक्रीम खा ली, कॉफी पीने चले गए दोस्तों के साथ,
मतलब
लंच
किसी
कर
और के
लिया.
साथ तो नहीं, दोस्तों के साथ.
हाँ जी, दोस्तों के साथ, बेगम के साथ डिनर पे चले गए, डेट आउट कर लिया, छोटी छोटी खुशियाँ.
सर, बीइंग अ सीईओ जैसे आपने कहा ना, लोनली पीपल, देख सीईओज का और बिहेवियर है, दे ट्रैवल अ लॉट बिकॉज उनका नेचर ऑफ जॉब ऐसी है. तो सर, वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस में डू यू जस्टिफाई?
I would not complain. My wife used to complain a lot before 2 years back, but since 2 years, I think there is some calmness there. What I try is not to spend weekends out of Pakistan or out of city. So at least for weekends you are here. So then you can spend time with your family, friends, etc.
मतलब आप बैलेंस कर लेते हैं वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस.
5 days a week generally you have craziness somewhere. Some sort of craziness is there.
सर, सीईओज का बारे में कहा जाता है कि दे रीड एट लास्ट, ग्लोबल सीईओज की बात होती है तो दे रीड 50 to 60 बुक्स इन अ ईयर. और व्हाट इज योर रीडिंग हैबिट्स एंड एनी 3 books which are really close to your heart which you recommend our listeners and readers to read? 3 books.
I used to read a lot the management philosophies and all that things. I was a vivid reader of Harvard Business Reviews and all that kind of stuff. But that was like a journey. And now today, when I want to read it, I think the best reading is that you read the life of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because I think he was the biggest leader of all time. So his philosophies of leadership, try to look at that, try to look at it, how he used to deal with people, manage difficult decisions, and you learn a lot. So
Excellent.
I think that this is the only thing that is now close to me. Occasionally you read the magazines and keep yourself abreast with the economy, what is happening. Naturally you need to keep abreast of all
मतलब
those.
ये आपकी ये रीडिंग हैबिट्स.
But I need to read a lot on the international commodities because this is part of my business and all that thing.
सर, एनी कोटेशन विच रियली लव टू शेयर, जो कोई ऐसी चीज़ होती है ना, कोई अच्छा सा खूबसूरत सा शेर होता है, कोई फैज़ का, कोई गालिब का, या कोई ऐसी मोटिवेशनल लाइन जो आप गुनगुनाते हो, जो आपको मोटिवेट करती है?
I will tell you one. That is from Maulana Rumi.
Okay.
And that has given me a clarity. I think इतने डिफिकल्ट कॉन्सेप्ट को उन्होंने इतने सिंपल 4 वर्ड्स में बयान करना भी उनका कमाल था.
क्या बात है.
तो मैं थोड़ा सा रिकैप कर रहा हूँ, मैं उर्दू में ही बताऊंगा.
जी, उर्दू में.
I would not be able to probably do justice in English. I'm just thinking to bring that
अगर इतनी कीमती चीज़ है तो we can.
हाँ जी, कीमती चीज़ है, बिल्कुल कीमती चीज़ है. तो उन्होंने कहा था जी कि मेहनत बगैर दुआ तकब्बुर,
वाह 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 वाह.
और दुआ बगैर मेहनत हिमाकत.
दुआ बगैर मेहनत के हमाकत है,
और मेहनत बगैर दुआ के तकब्बुर.
वो ऐसी बात है कि जी मैंने किया था, हु आर यू.
सो इसलिए आई थिंक ये फिलॉसफी क्लियर कर देता है लाइफ में कि आपको दोनों काम करना है, मेहनत भी करनी है और अल्लाह के पास भी मांगना है.
तो मैंने इसको थोड़ा सा ऐसे कर दिया है, आसान रहेगी याद करने में. इसको मैंने ज़रा रीवर्डिंग किया कि जी अगर पेट और तकब्बर भर जाए तो इंसान गले नहीं लगा सकता. वो दोनों इंसान को दूर हो जाता है. शिवाग अहमद कहते हैं ना, मैं उनका स्टूडेंट हूँ बेसिकली. वो कहते थे कि हम एक वक्त में आकर एक दूसरे को खो देंगे, इसलिए कि वो मुझे नहीं बुलाता तो मैं उसे क्यों बुलाऊं.
ऐसा ही.
सर, लास्ट क्वेश्चन रिगार्डिंग द मैसेज ऑफ ऑप्टिमिज्म. आपकी हर बात में माशाल्लाह ऑप्टिमिज्म है, एक उम्मीद है. और आजकल बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस, डिप्रेशन है, होपलेसनेस है इन द कंट्री, जॉबलेसनेस तो पीक पे है. मेरी नई नस्ल को आप उधर देख के, वो हमारे मेन जस्ट एक मैसेज शेयर कर दीजिएगा फॉर द यंग पीपल, फॉर द यंग एस्पायरिंग सीईओज, फॉर द यंग लीडर्स. हाउ अबाउट यू सर?
No work to me is small. And I see a lot of time that the young engineers or young professionals, they try to
Picture.
they spend a lot of time, they do a lot of effort finding the right thing, whereas a lot of small opportunities left them which could have become bigger. So I would say, no work is small. सिर्फ बहुत बड़ी चीज के लिए छोटी चीजों को इग्नोर ना करें, क्योंकि छोटी चीजें भी बड़ी बन जाती
बड़ी बन जाती हैं. Small things are big things. Small things makes big difference.
हैं.
Sir, I am grateful, sir.
Thank you.
इमरान, बहुत अच्छा लगा सुबह